Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited because today we are going to be talking about my top picks for Valentine's Day eyeshadow palettes. I am sure there are a bunch of other people doing this type of video. I've seen a couple of them go up, but I haven't watched them yet because I didn't want them to kind of get their thoughts mixed up with mine. So let me go ahead and share with you the palettes that I think of when I think of Valentine's Day. So I think it only reasonable to start with some of the more like well-known brands and then work our way towards more indie brands. And the first one that I want to talk about is this one. This is the Too Faced Natural Lust palette. If you have not seen this before, it's really pretty gold packaging. And then when you open it up, it has like all these really pretty, like soft, somewhat cool toned eyeshadows. You do have a little bit of a pop down here with the blue, but I think, you know, if you're gonna make like a demure kind of like simple classy eyeshadow look, nothing this bright and loud, but if you're gonna make, you know, kind of that like sweeter Valentine's Day look, this would be a great eyeshadow palette to use. In particular, I really love Love Spark, Too Good, Love Spark, All Tied Up, and Too Good. And then I think some of these like mattes really work nicely to kind of round out like a very soft kind of demure look. So this is kind of my pick to fall into that category. And then moving, I would say, towards the drugstore side of things, although this palette was definitely not drugstore priced, it was $34. It is the Too Faced To Me Love Me palette. And I will say I hate this stupid string. Like, make it like a little hair tie kind of thing or just leave it off. But this whole thing is like a little love letter. It's got hearts kind of stamped into the little pans here. I do really like this palette. There is a video of this palette first impressions up on my channel, so you can definitely check that video out. But I think this is a great Valentine's Day palette, and it definitely gives me like all the vibes. Now, if you can get your hands on this one, this is a good eyeshadow palette. But this is the Sweet Shop collection from BH Cosmetics. This is the Cotton Candy palette. And this one is this like pinky purple dream. I do think that this palette is so pretty. And when I first saw this collection launch, there's I think 7 palettes. I got like 5 or 6 of them. And I got all but this one and the neutral one. And I was like, I don't need this one. I have so many pinky purple palettes. Like, get over yourself, Heather. And then I saw this one and I was like, oh my gosh, no, I need this. So I ended up having to hunt it down unused from a third-party seller, which they had it in new condition. And I was like, you know what? If it's new, I'll take it. So I did pick this one up. And I'm really, really happy I got it. I did wear this eyeshadow palette actually on Friday as I'm filming this. And the look that I did with this was so pretty. I'm so happy to have this in my collection. And if you have it in your collection, definitely think about using it for Valentine's Day. Alright, and if you want drugstore vibes and drugstore prices, look no further than the Profusion Mauves palette. So if you've not seen this one before, it's a very like somewhat warm toned kind of pinky eyeshadow look. My lights are washing this out a little bit, so it's looking a little bit lighter on camera than it actually is, but I think it goes, you know, this shade is pretty deep. You've got some really nice shimmers in here. You've got one shade that is like matte with kind of that like glitter put into it, but it works very much like a glitter, oh my god, but it works very much like a matte on your eyes. And then these all are like true mattes. So I think this is a really nice palette. I've used this one a couple of times. It's great for an easy look. If you're looking for something that's drugstore, that's easily accessible, that's inexpensive, this is $5 and it does a really good job. Okay. So going along kind of the same like drugstore line, I did want to also talk about some Colourpop picks. And my picks from Colourpop would be the Wine and Only palette, which looks like this, and the Strawberry Shake palette, which looks like this. So I can hold both of these up together, and actually I think these two palettes would look really nice paired together. This one has a couple of like kind of peachier shades, but then it's got some really nice pinks down through the center and across the top. This one is definitely more of those like burgundy red berry tones, so you can go a lot deeper and darker, but I think these two together even would look really pretty, and you could make a very pretty look. These palettes, I believe, I believe they used to be $12, but I think they might have hiked up the prices to like $14 now, but you can get like coupon codes and stuff if you're shopping through Colourpop. There's lots of influencers that have codes, so that's something that you can use. Okay, going into some more things that are more mainstream but still basically indie products, but things you could find potentially at Ulta. My next pick was the Juvia's Place Douce palette, or Deuce palette, I'm not really sure, but it's this palette right here, and I think this pink, this purple, this sort of red brick kind of shade, and these pinky shades here really, I mean, you could just pull together such a pretty look. This is going to work on a variety of skin tones. There's some kind of pops of different interesting colors here, and this neutral shade I really don't use because, like, I don't really care about neutrals, but I think the whole rest of the palette is worth it. It's a very, very pretty palette, and I believe these run around like $15 if I'm not mistaken, but this one may be a little bit harder to find right now because I think they've stopped producing it. So if you have it in your collection, definitely think about using it. And then the next one that you could definitely pick up from Ulta would be the Nabla Dreamy palette. This is the original Nabla Dreamy palette, and I believe these retail for around $34 US. But again, this is kind of like that Too Faced palette where it's going to give you kind of that soft, demure, kind of sweet, pinky toned, neutral, nude pink, rose kind of color story. And I think, you know, Immaculate with some Sistina or Senorita and Dogma in the outer corner, I mean, you could make like a really pretty cute Valentine's Day kind of look with this very, very easily. On top of which, their shades are literally a dream to work with. So that's a formula that I really enjoy. Okay, let's move into like some indie. The next one that I want to talk about is the Rose Period. And this is from Suva Beauty. This is inspired by who? An artist. Good Lord, I don't remember. But this is kind of this like pinky, almost like fuchsia purple color story. You've definitely got like rosy pinks here. You've got some purpley pinks through here. This one pulls more red. You've got some more like orangey coppery kind of tones here, and then this really deep kind of berry red that you can work in to make a really nice cohesive look. I think again this will work on a variety of different skin tones. I got this one in my Tribe Beauty box and I really do enjoy that. I got this in my Tribe Beauty box and I really do enjoy that subscription, and I think they are more cognizant of things that'll work on a variety of skin tones since the owner is has a deeper skin tone. So I really like this palette. This one would be great for a Valentine's Day look. The next one is the Makeup a Murder Partner in Crime palette, and this one looks like this. I love Makeup a Murder's aesthetic because they're, you know, very into like crime scene themed makeup, and I know that sounds really like tacky and horrible, but I actually really like the concept of it. This palette I think is really nice for like 1 or 2 shades into a look and done. Like putting these two together or this one and this one together are nice. I have had this palette for a little over a year at this point, and I've noticed that the black is getting less pigmented, it's less buttery, it's less soft. So I'm not sure if that's because it has like a glitter infused into it or if it's just that particular formula. I really can't say, but the rest of the palette is holding up really nicely, and the rest of the palette works really, really well. So that's that one. And it does say a 12-month shelf life, so I knew what I was getting into when I bought it. Alright, the next one is the Lunar Beauty Strawberry Dreams palette, and this is actually the palette that I used to create this look. So if you are hanging around my channel, you will see a video going up at some point that demos this look out for you so that you can take a look and see kind of what I did to get this look. But you certainly don't need this particular palette to recreate it. I think there are a lot of palettes that could give you that same vibe, and that's part of why we're having this conversation. So this is the Lunar Beauty Strawberry Dreams palette. I do think this is so pretty. You have this flaky, iridescent, white to blue kind of shifting color right here. You've got this one down here which looks like a beige, but it's actually this like metallic white to yellow gold kind of duochrome, which I really like. You've got some really pretty pinky red shades up here, and then you've got this bright gold and these 2 super stunning blues. I think this palette is pretty versatile for the color story that you get. Lunar Beauty quality is really, really good. Like, say what you want about Manny, because, like, I'm not going to defend him. He's done some weird stuff in the past. But I think he's been better recently. And I think the quality of his makeup is worth the price. So there's that one. And then I wanted to talk about a couple of palettes that probably wouldn't spring to mind as, like, this is a Valentine's Day theme. It's a pinky purple palette. Like, it's not going to give you those vibes as soon as you think about it. But when you actually look at the color story, I think you could do some really cute Valentine's Day looks with them. So, case in point, my Colored Rain and Power collab. I don't know if you guys liked Power as much as I did, but I actually did not watch the last season because I wasn't ready to let go. But I have this palette, and it has these really rich, like, burgundy kind of red shades, and then more of, like, cool toned purpley kind of shades. You've got this iridescent white to purple, a really strong purple. You've got this more, like, rose gold type shade. I think you could do some really pretty Valentine's Day looks with this, especially if you're of a deeper skin tone. Like, you could really make these colors pop. So I think this would be a great one. If you already have this one in your collection, you might want to dig this one out and play around with it a little bit, because I think you could do something really pretty. Okay, the next one is the Sugarpill Capsule palette, and this is, I believe, the first one that came out, which is the pink one. And I pulled this palette for a couple of reasons. I thought this kind of like pinky shade here, the blush here, this purple, and then this shade right here is actually super interesting. So it looks kind of like a lilac-y, like a warm toned lilac. I think that shade looks really pretty on the eyes, and I think you could make a really pretty kind of Valentine's Day look out of that. And then with this particular palette, you know, when I think about this one, I think more about these pops of colors, especially the ones that you can see through the window. So I don't necessarily think of this as like a pinky palette, but when you open it up, I think there is Valentine's Day vibes to be had. The last palette that I want to talk about is the Nomad Cosmetics Cartagena Mágica palette, and it looks like this. And when I think of this palette, I think of like orange, yellow, bright, vibrant kind of tones, but there actually are a handful of like pinky shades in here. So you have this one, you have these two shades here, and you've got this one. And then I think you could do something interesting with that yellow gold as well, or even just like the true gold that's here, sorry. I think you could do something really, really interesting with that, and I think you could make a Valentine's Day look out of this, even though this palette itself does not scream Valentine's Day. Like, this really feels very summery to me, but I think with those particular shades, you could make a pretty Valentine's Day look. So, with that said, I want to hear from you guys. Tell me, what palettes are you guys turning to for Valentine's Day this year? Is there something that I should have definitely picked out of my collection that I forgot? I would love to hear from you. Definitely leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm going to catch you in my next video.